What the f is WillyMac talking about, bro? What is he on about, dude? Is WillyMac f***ing autistic, bro? What is this guy's problem? It doesn't make any f***ing sense, bro. None of this makes any sense when you think about it for more than a second. Dude, it's honestly bizarre. It's like he's just lashing out and wants to shit on Queeman and hasn't even thought about the arguments that he's made and the fact they start to then contradict each other. So we're criticizing Augie for showing this tweet, but nothing for Destiny for sharing the link himself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, the video was just worse than I could have possibly imagined. I mean...
You don't know. Okay. This is probably going to become relevant in the video as we get into it. I used to be a Destiny orbiter back in the day. A few years ago now, I used to be a Destiny orbiter. And for a multitude of reasons, that came to an end, which I thank my lucky stars for now, to be honest with you, with everything that's happened, okay? But one thing that I wanted to try and do is obviously try and find another way to kind of like, you know, basically like another community to move into, I guess. You know, it wasn't anything particularly, you know, super planned or like, I'm going to like get into this community and do this. It's just like, I wanted kind of a direction to take my channel. And I'd had some conversations with some commentary YouTubers, particularly like Nicholas Diorio, and you know I was sort of trying to find a way to find a new angle and you know whatever. And then the WillyMac stuff came along, and the WillyMac stuff was great for the channel. It was fantastic. Obviously, it was you know overwhelmingly successful. Thank you for the gifted sub, and it kind of gave a massive boost to my channel when I really needed it. And there was a bunch of other stuff that happened too, obviously, but that was like a big boost for me, right? And obviously I was considered kind of like a commentary YouTuber. I was part of the cabal, I think some people would like to say. And obviously, you know, I'd knock about with some of the other creators within the kind of cabal, right? Obviously, I think you probably are aware there was a bit of like tumultuousness over some of these relationships recently. I made some comments in regards to other commentary YouTubers, one of who I think is coming on later, so maybe we can talk about that as well. We could talk about the tricks or treats. Although, to be honest with you, with the recent Roblox shit, I don't know, man, I feel a bit that's a weak point for me, to be honest with you. Okay, well, we can talk about that. We can hash it out, mate. We can hash it out, okay? We can hash it out. So anyway, I made a couple of comments about some of the stuff that I was seeing elsewhere in the kind of commentary community. And, you know, I think I had some good points to make, but I think it was too soon for people to accept them. I mean, obviously, the stuff about Augie was more personal taste, to be perfectly clear. And obviously there was actually banter mixed in there too, to be perfectly clear, okay? But I made some other comments about, you know, certain coverage and certain topics and the way it was being spoken about. And some people really didn't like it. Fair enough. You know, it led to a series of events that kind of like upset my relationship within the cabal, as people like to call it, or the commentary community. And I think this is also off the back of some stuff that I wasn't really able to perceive or to see. Like, I got the feeling off the back of the events that happened off of that, right? I got the feeling that there was this kind of mean girl shit happening behind the scenes. And it was in a way that I couldn't really perceive. I couldn't really figure it out. It just felt like people were talking shit about me behind my back. And this was coming out, obviously, in the Tommy C streams. But there wasn't really people that were kind of coming to me directly and saying, I've got this problem with you, I've got that problem with you. Which I guess is what I've kind of been used to previously. Is you would talk on stream, you would hash out your problems, or, God forbid, I know some of you hate this, you might even have a private conversation in order to kind of hash out like some disagreement that you've got, you know, which I know some of you don't like, but that was the kind of what I would maybe expect, right? So it was very odd that all of a sudden it was like, okay, well there seems to be this stuff being said about me behind the scenes, and then some of that stuff ended up on an Alcoholic Wretches stream, and it just left me feeling a bit like, okay, well, I mean, you know, I thought I was on good terms with some of these people. I guess I'm not. I don't know. No one's telling me. So I guess I'm just kind of a bit out of it now. And I just kind of accepted that and just kind of moved on. And obviously been doing loads of stuff, farming pirate software, whatever fucking stuff I've been doing. So obviously, you know, I've tried to kind of just get on with it. I've got a pretty reasonable audience on YouTube and also on other platforms as well. But YouTube is my main platform. So I didn't really kind of need anyone to make content and continue forward. So I just kind of cracked on, basically. That was the plan. And obviously I've seen a little bit of this and a little bit of that. There's been like a bit of bickering here, a bit of bickering there. People are calling it the commentary Cold War. I thought it was a little bit like, oh, okay, whatever. I wasn't really that interested in it because I was kind of a bit checked out of all the intra-commentary stuff, you know. Obviously, I'm pinned as being responsible for Queeman. And Queeman has ruffled some feathers with his vitriolic polemics, his vitriolic commentary on certain topics. Obviously, I accept that he came from my community, but I don't like this idea that I'm like completely responsible for him. And that goes both ways. So it's like, it's kind of annoying when it feels like I have to answer for something he said or done. But then also it's like, well, I don't want to feel like I've got to back him up, like he's fine on his own. He's doing his own thing. He's got a platform, whatever, you know? So I'm just like, he could do his thing. Yes, he came from my community. Yes, he's built, you know, a platform off of that. But I don't really feel like I've got to weigh in and get involved in everything that he's doing. It's like, it's up to him. If he wants to argue with people, he can do that. Whatever he wants to do, right? But obviously there's been this effort to kind of like ring him around my neck repeatedly, which has dissipated, to be honest with you. It has dissipated, which is good, because I don't want to have this fucking responsibility for something that's literally nothing to do with me in terms of like daily commentary and statements that are made and stuff like that, right? So obviously Queeman's been ruffling some feathers recently, I've seen that. And, you know, I get that people don't like him. I get that, you know, there are probably reasons you might be critical of him or something like that. Whatever. And that's fair enough. You know, you do you at the end of the day. But yeah, obviously this video's just come out. And I made the mistake of watching it on my day off, okay? And I was very irritated with it. I thought it was, you know... I thought it was a pretty shit video. The parts that I saw, at least. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk about it, okay? Now, obviously, out of all the people that are kind of criticised, I probably am, like, closer to Queeman, right? J-Stalk has done a bunch of fucking shit that's pissed me off, but I feel like he's probably getting a shitty end of the stick here. And also, right, I feel like Augie is getting a pretty fucking raw deal in this too. Because although I didn't really get into it or cover it, I did get wind of Augie's stream, and I heard some of the takes that he was making on there. And I was like, thinking, well, this seems fine. Like, what's the problem with this take? Like, it seems like a pretty reasonable take. But apparently not. Apparently now, the Cabal, which I feel like I'm kind of been kicked out of at this point, the Cabal that I've left behind is in shambles fighting with each other. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to get to the bottom of it, okay? Now, obviously, I've previously considered WillyMac like a colleague, right? And we've spoken on stream, we've argued on stream, we've debated about a video on stream, you know? We've spoken privately in terms of he's asked me for information about certain topics that he's maybe not particularly educated on. Recently, I just want to get this out there so people obviously can see that maybe there's a bias there that you might want to consider, but I'm obviously going to try and be fair. Recently, WillyMac seems to have been going around behind the scenes, like talking to people like Tommy C and kind of putting ideas out there like I'm some sort of snake. And from WillyMac's perspective, and obviously I can't see this, all I see are like the odd YouTube comment from WillyMac and little bits and pieces like that, little tweets here and there. But I don't really have like a direct thing to look at to go, well look, this is what WillyMac has said and it's wrong. It's like little bits and pieces here and there. And at no point has come to me to express any of this to me directly. But from what I can ascertain and what I can figure out is basically He thinks I'm a snake, and there's two reasons for this. One is because I said when I was watching his second Destiny video that one of his detractors or one of his critics or something was saying something about asking questions whether or not WillyMac was paid by Destiny to make the video. And I said, I don't think that he's paid. That's stupid. And I said something like, there's some truth to that, in that there's probably some bias there, because obviously WillyMac went to Destiny's house and was like, you know, on his election night stream and stuff like that. So there's probably some sort of latent bias that exists that influences how he talks about it. And whilst I can't see inside Willy's head, there's also another reference point that I would use for that. And that's, having been an orbiter, I kind of know what that's like. And I often have got sympathy for people that have been in the orbit or whatever way they've interacted, because I know a little bit about the kind of dynamics, and I think, well, that's probably what's going on there. And I thought it was a pretty reasonable take. I didn't think it was that crazy. But apparently it was snaky to say that. Now, I'm sure Willy won't mind this, because obviously he doesn't seem to have a problem with revealing details of behind-the-scenes conversation. But I will be revealing today, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, the message that WillyMac keeps referencing that he says was me being snaky. Because I just want to clear the record on this once and for all before we get to the video. I won't reveal anything else about the conversation. It will literally just be my message. And I will leave the audience to determine whether they think this constitutes a snaky message or not. Okay? So here's the message that I sent. It was on the 18th of February. Okay? And it was off the back of people being critical of that first video that he did about Destiny. This is all the context you need. There's nothing before this that you need to see. Okay? The next line that you're not seeing is Willy's response, and he's just not interested in talking. And, you know, beyond that, I don't really want to talk about it further. But that's, you know, if WillyMac can test this, he can obviously release more of the messages if he so wishes. Okay? But these are the messages that apparently led WillyMac to believe, along with my coverage on stream of his video, that I'm snaky. So I messaged him and I said, hey man, hope you're well. Dude, just wanted to give you some friendly advice to stop fighting with utter shitters like Moreau. Moreau is catching strays, ladies and gentlemen. Moreau is catching strays in this message, okay? There's nothing I can do about that. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. Because what he was doing is he was having these like ongoing Twitter arguments with total fucking nobodies. And I just thought, well, that's stupid. You know, word to the wise, don't fucking do that, right? Okay? If I'm snaking anyone, it's Moreau. But who fucking cares about Moreau anyway? Anyway, dude. Anyway. You're crashing out on Twitter, bro. So, I mean, obviously, maybe the meaning isn't clear here. But this is meant to be, like, more friendly. It's not meant to be, like, a particularly, like, aggressive thing. I mean, I call it friendly advice. It's not meant to be harsh. But anyway, if we took it that way, whatever. You can decide what you think about this message, okay? Also, if you wanted to have a casual chat, I can lay out what people are bothered by in a non-retarded way. I would rather do it privately so there isn't the pressure of public eyes looking for drama. Okay, I know you guys aren't going to like that, right? I know you guys aren't going to like that. But does this sound like someone that's being fucking snaky, bro? You can record if you wanted to, of course, for peace of mind. Well, the thing is, I can't remember when this was. 18th of February, yeah. I can't remember when this was, if this was before or after he'd been on Queeman's stream. I can't remember when it was exactly. But at this time, I was, like, arguably on better terms with WillyMac than I am now, which is all one-sided, by the way. I've not really had any issue with him necessarily, beyond maybe some criticism or issue with his coverage of stuff. But ever since this message, he just seems to have totally flipped and acted like I'm a snake and told people privately that I'm a snake. And this is the message that I believe started it all. So, you know, I just wanted to get it out there because, you know, I don't know what might come of this stream, if there's any more things. I just want to make it clear that I feel like my behaviour is completely reasonable through all of this, and I don't think I've ever acted like a snake with WillyMac, ever. You know, I've publicly criticised him. I've reached out to him privately and offered to have a private, recorded for his benefit, for his peace of mind conversation, if he so wishes. And that now is being, or has been, I should say, used to paint me as some sort of fucking snake. So it is a little bit annoying, to be honest with you. And, you know, I've not really made a big deal out of this. I've just kind of like continued about my business. But, you know, in light of this video, I just want to get it out there. Well, the thing is, there is no tweet of WillyMac saying ChudLogic is a snake, but the way that Tommy C tells it, it seems that WillyMac has relayed this to him privately. And that that's the problem, is that I haven't really got much to go off to go, that's where he's saying it. But I think if you know about the drama, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I don't know who else does or doesn't like me, but obviously, you know, like, listen, I'm an adult man, okay? I'm not going to lose any sleep over this. But it is just a bit like, what, people just talking shit behind my back and I just don't know. And like, people don't like me anymore. They don't want to come on my stream because apparently I'm some like snake and I'm going to snake you or something. I don't fucking know, dude. Anyway, there we go. That is everything out in the open as far as I can see in regards to my conduct with WillyMac. So there it is. Everything else you can see on streams or segments, I think, of all my you know, other aspects. I mean, obviously we've got some private conversations, but that's not really relevant. If WillyMac wants to show more, he's welcome to. If he feels like I'm misrepresenting or lying or being a snake, he can release as much DMs as he wants. I've got nothing to hide in that respect. But I just wanted to show that for the record, okay? Now, with that being said, Augie's going to call in later, I think. I want to get through this video first, okay? With all that being said, let's get into this video. Now, I just want to say before I get into this, okay? I find drama that is focused on doxing, as in the act of doxing or someone being doxed. I find it extremely unpleasant drama, right? And I say that because it's like, I don't really see it as, I mean, it is drama, I guess, but it's like, oh, someone's address gets leaked onto the internet, someone's name gets leaked onto the internet. It just sucks. It just fucking sucks for the person, right? And whilst I would support, like, you know, the First Amendment protection of doxing or whatever, and if you want to have a little forum somewhere where you do it, whatever, I really am against doxing. I don't agree with doxing, and I don't support doxing in any fashion or any iota. There was a little thing that happened recently, which we'll get into probably a bit later, in regards to my Discord. Someone got banned for posting some information that was the product of a dox. But I hate it. I hate it. I think it's, you know, it's not fun. It's not fun when the drama is someone's been doxed. And I do actually genuinely feel terrible for WillyMac for having been doxed. And obviously I think, you know, other people are involved that aren't WillyMac. They've also been brought into this. There's obviously people I think that are involved in this that are total lunatics, like fucking Bad Empanada. You know, I think Bad Empanada is a totally deranged lunatic. And I don't support any of that shit. I don't support doxing. I don't support spreading dox. I don't support, you know, anything like that, right? But the problem with this video is whilst I'm very sympathetic to having been doxed and people you care about being doxed, it just seems very obvious to me that WillyMac is just completely, like, off the chain on this fucking, on some of the claims that he makes. It's fucking outrageous. It's totally ridiculous. I honestly, you know, cannot believe.
Bad empanadas.
I honestly cannot believe that this video, that he's put this video out. It is ridiculous. And we're going to get into it. Now, I'm not going to watch the whole video because I don't care about Asana at the best of times, and I obviously do not support or agree with Bad Empanada. And I would obviously just flatly say that doxing is wrong, terrible, horrendous. Spreading dox is wrong, terrible, horrendous. Using information gathered from dox in order to make a video is wrong, terrible, horrendous, etc. Okay? But the problem for, well, we'll get into it. The problem for me is I feel like Willy is lashing out at people unreasonably, and we're going to talk about it. So Let's get into it.
On a podcast. He's nonstop lying about me and my wife, saying she was in the IDF. His fans are saying she murdered babies. He's saying propagandists should die as he's calling me a paid propagandist. They're saying we're valid targets. He posted a photo of what he thinks is my wife in the IDF, but they're actually just pictures of random teenage girls. I asked my wife—
Obviously, all horrendous. Completely disagree with all of that. I need to say that apparently. Apparently there's some narrative that, you know, Bad Empanada is like a supported individual or something. I think that's all terrible, horrendous, awful. Don't agree or support with any of that stuff. Is it clear? Is it clear that I don't support any of these freaks that do this shit and I really hate doxing? I'm not doing it ironically. I'm not doing it tongue-in-cheek. I genuinely think this is like deranged and unacceptable behavior, okay? Like, hopefully that's clear.
What this was, and she thinks it's the Israeli Girl Scouts, so he's just posting little girls on Twitter. My wife didn't serve in the IDF. She came over here at 3 years old. On top of it, he doesn't even know her politics on that situation. He's just being racist. But the worst thing he did was post the date and address of her wedding the week before it took place. He does it multiple times throughout the video, showing an archived page of our site, because we did take it down to try and hide it.
Obviously, there's an extra level of derangedness to this, because it's talking about someone's wedding. You're involving like a third party, and then also potentially anyone that turns up to that wedding. So obviously totally ridiculous and outrageous behavior. Well, the weddings, I'm presuming, happen by now, so it's kind of a moot point. And I mean, to be fair to Willy, he probably just thinks, well, at this point it's all out there, so what does it matter? So I don't really like, I mean, you know, it's like, you shouldn't really make a video about you being doxxed, right? Like, that is only going to draw more attention to it. But my guess is that, you know, Willy probably thinks, well, it's out there anyway. So I don't necessarily have, like, a massive issue with it. I just think that, generally speaking, you shouldn't do it. But I'm not, like, super, like, oh, you're an idiot for doing this. I don't think that's necessarily reasonable because, you know, it's like, a lot of this is done now, and it is quite widely publicized at this point. So it's like, well, it's out there. What can you do? I don't know, man. I'm not really that interested in that point.
But nope, there it is. The time, the date, the address.
Yale and William McConville are getting married very soon. Yale, who is Israeli and Israeli government-provided wife.
So now our wedding is being messed with, and they were wasting the time of our venue, the hotel, and 2 police stations.
Thank you for the 420.
Actual positions. I heard on the internet that you were snaky. Wow.
I don't really have a problem with criticizing all this shit. Obviously, this is all, yeah, fair to criticize. I mean, it's deranged, really deranged.
It's cost me thousands of extra dollars in insurance and potentially closing down the entire building, and my bride is coming up to me and asking me if we're about to be double homicided at her wedding. I'm like, no baby, these people don't leave their mom's basements, but she sees the news. She saw 2 low-level staffers at the Israeli embassy get shot and killed. She's worried. So I'm being told by the police that I should go online and see if there's any direct threats, and I see a video made by a guy who hates me, showing all of my information and giving a hypothetical where I'm a valid target because Destiny's a hypocrite.
Stevie said anything involving this Bad Empanada guy or any—
Right, okay. So obviously, I'm sure many of you know who this is. So this is Queeman. This is a streamer who came from my community and has built a decent-sized following of his own. There are often efforts to weigh him around my neck, which have kind of dissipated largely. I would accept that, you know, I have raided him a lot, although I don't raid him as much as I used to. I'm trying to pass the buck to other smaller streamers normally than in my stream. But, you know, I will raid him sometimes. Raided him a lot before. We've spoken on stream before. We've often had disagreements about stuff that we've argued about on stream. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but obviously I'm not responsible for everything he says and everything he does. And often I don't want to feel like it's like I'm defending him like he's my son or something like that, you know? So we make a bit of a meme about it. I have done in the past, but he's not literally my son. He's got his own stream and his own takes and his own opinions, some of which I agree with, some of which I obviously don't. And here's the reality with Queeman. Queeman ruffles feathers. That's what it is, okay? Queeman ruffles feathers and people don't like that. But rather than engage or talk about what he's saying, they'd rather just smear him as in some way, which I think comes up later in the video. Now, obviously, there are many reasons to dislike Queeman, okay? I'm not saying you obviously need to like the guy. He's a contrarian. True! Absolutely, yes, he is. I agree. Classic contrarian is Creeman. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, hate him for a legitimate reason or a true reason, okay? Not for, like, bullshit. But anyway, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Let's get into this, okay?
Anyone that's
All my information and giving a hypothetical where I'm a valid target because Destiny's a hypocrite.
Stevie said anything involving this bad empanada guy or anyone that supports him is justifiable, ammo. Anything is justified against bad empanada and anyone that supports him. Let's apply those standards. Why are we saying this about bad empanada? Well, it appears to be because bad empanada doxed WillyMac's wife. So would Destiny be saying that those who dox people, those who make calls to violence or allusions to violence, should be fair game, and all of their supporters, all the personalities that back them up, all the chatters that back him up?
This is essentially a Destiny snark community. This guy's narrative for the past 6 months is that I'm covering for Destiny.
So, my understanding of what Queeman is saying here is that he's making the no bad. I don't think he agrees with this himself, and he goes on, and even in this video, there's a clip of this, I think. Is he not saying that this is essentially like a no bad tactics, only bad targets thing? Is that not the point that he's making here? Like, if you set up the standard, then because Destiny has, like, shared doxes and stuff himself before, and called for, you know, I mean, I don't want to get into, I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, but, like, he's basically saying that, you know, there's an argument that Destiny's behavior would justify the same actions against him, no? Is that not what he's saying? Yes, true. So, Creeman should not have let this autoplay, obviously. This is obviously a really fucking stupid thing to do. And you shouldn't let this autoplay on your stream because you are, even accidentally, broadcasting someone's dox information. So
Okay,
this was,
wonderful.
you know...
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Actually, male breast milk is good for you. Also, I don't care about loli.
I think that is the real Queeman, actually. Thank you for the $3. So this is obviously, you know, wrong of Queeman to have done. But there's 2 points to make. One is that I'm fairly certain this was accidental. I don't think he intended to do this. And, you know, I don't know if Willy goes on to talk about this, but I believe that Queeman went on to censor this in the video that went up. And I think that people that clipped it, ended up taking their clips down and censoring it and putting them back up or something like that. I mean, I've not followed this particularly closely. I could be wrong about that. I'll take the L if I am. But at the very least, I think that Queeman made efforts to censor this when the video went up. So that would suggest to me that it's an accidental, like, broadcasting of this rather than intentionally putting it up. And the second problem we've got, what is Queeman looking at on stream?
So about anything.
This is Destiny quote tweeting this tweet. So the only reason, I mean, obviously Queeman is at fault for broadcasting this. Okay. So this is definitely this is like a big L for Queeman to have accidentally broadcast this. Okay. But Destiny's quote tweeted it. And the only reason that this is now on Queeman's stream is because he's talking about what Destiny is saying about it. Now, I don't watch all of Queeman's fucking coverage. Okay. But I don't believe that Queeman is in the habit of broadcasting dox information on his stream. So I think that this reads more as an accident
But how do I make
than anything
money
else.
off
And
depressed
Destiny's
people?
quote tweeted
Mars
this.
is to IDF as snark is to WillyMac.
Thank you for the tip. And obviously, you know, yes, Destiny is saying that bad empanada's bad or whatever, but it's like you're still putting it out there further, no? It's got 227,000 views. Queeman gets about, what, 300 or 400 viewers live, and then gets a few thousand views on a segment. Which, where it was censored on the segment. So at most, what, 1,000 people, 2,000 people tops might have seen it off the back of Queeman's coverage of this. But surely this is more broadly being seen here, no? So I'm just a bit like, well, you know, it's not good. It's not good to show this anywhere. But surely this is a problem too, quote tweeting it. So I'm just a bit like perplexed as to like, okay, so we can have a problem with Queeman playing it. You might think he did it on purpose even. I don't agree with that, but even if he did, let's say he did, okay? Have a problem with that. What about this? This also is spreading it. No?
Is justified against Bad Empanada and anyone that supports him. Let's apply those standards. Why are we saying this about Bad Empanada? Well, it appears to be because Bad Empanada doxed WillyMac's wife. So, would Destiny be saying that those who dox people, those who make calls to violence or allusions...
Okay, well, we've seen this already.
For the past 6 months is that
Catters that back him up.
this is essentially a Destiny snark community. This guy's narrative for the past 6 months is that I'm covering for Destiny despite me making 2 of the most in-depth videos criticizing him. Their evidence behind this is I said Destiny is better at covering the news than Hassan and Vosh, which is somebody who has made videos on all 3 of these people. I think that's objective.
Okay. I'm fairly certain, I'm not like super into like the exact criticism of the WillyMac Destiny stuff. I'm fairly certain the criticism is that if WillyMac was covering someone like Hassan, he wouldn't in a video criticizing Hassan make a positive statement about Hassan. But in a video criticizing Destiny, he makes a positive statement about Destiny. I'm pretty sure that's what the criticism is supposed to be. I mean, I don't really know. You know, I mean, there's probably more. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. I just remember when this came out, there were some criticisms. I think, spoke about this, watched it, maybe gave some of my own criticisms. I can't remember. I mean, obviously, I offered to speak to WillyMac and say about what my thoughts were. And in fact, didn't Augie and Nicholas Diorio debate this? I mean, Augie's in chat. He can probably fill us in on that later. But I'm pretty sure they had like a debate about this. And Augie also agreed that there was issues with the first video, at least. So, I mean, I'm just a bit like, I feel like what WillyMac is doing is, I think that he is kind of oversimplifying what the criticism is to make it sound stupid, but he's not really giving it its fair argument or fleshing it out or something like that. That's my kind of take on this, I guess. It's like he's not really giving it its due. He's just kind of saying, oh, this is a really stupid argument, and then giving a reductive perspective on what the argument is, you know? But does that mean when he gets docs, you should platform the docs? At what point, you fucking idiot, at what point have I said it's okay to platform the docs? I've said Queeman, I've criticised Queeman for doing that. My criticism is at the level that I believe it was accidental, based on the fact that he then went on to censor it in the upload that went up. Okay. Who is supporting broadcasting doxes? I don't support it. Definitely not. So this is like a really fucking retarded take. I'm talking about Queeman doing it and saying it's an accident. Why do you think it's on purpose? Why do you think he purposefully did it? And if you think that he purposefully did it, well, Destiny definitely purposefully did it because he quote tweeted the fucking tweet that had it in it. So if you're going to be mad at fucking Queeman, surely you've got to be extra mad at Destiny for quote tweeting it in the first place. You know, and I think that everything about what happened, and not to say that it isn't fucking retarded to do it. Obviously, Queeman's a fucking idiot for not pausing it. But I don't really think there's good evidence that he did it purposefully to further spread the docs. I mean, it could get his fucking channel banned, for fuck's sake.
That doesn't sound so crazy now, does it? Doxing bad right on the forehead.
Thank you for the 333. So I don't really understand. It's like, you know, if you've got a problem with Queeman doing it, sure. But surely you'd be more angry at Destiny because he's the one that's originally quote tweeted the docs that has then led to Queeman talking about it on his stream. That doesn't mean Queeman shouldn't have fucking paused it. Obviously, he should have done. But it does seem more accidental than anything else. Anyway, I won't be engaging with that further. I've made my points about it. If you disagree, you're a retard.
True, but I digress. But most importantly, it's that when these two do something stupid, I make fun of them back. The truth is, Bad Empanada did not originate my docs. He maliciously spread it everywhere, but my docs originated on a niche forum by this guy's unhinged viewers. So when I see...
Okay, what the fuck is WillyMac talking about, bro? What is he on about, dude? Has he got any evidence to back this up at all? That a fucking Queeman fan doxed him on, I'm presuming he's alluding to Kiwi Farms. This is fucking insane, is it not? Is this not fucking crazy, bro? And what is so fucking insane about this is when Dark Viper did this to me, Willy defended me and said Dark Viper was making a baseless allegation against me off of nothing, that I was somehow responsible for his docs, when obviously I wasn't. But now Willie Mac is saying the opposite when it comes to Creeman. It's ridiculous. Where's the evidence of this? Is there any evidence that backs up the idea that a Queeman fan doxed Willie Mac? Now, I will say this. I will make this clear at this point, okay? Just so there's no confusion, nothing hidden, nothing complicated, nothing confusing, okay? We had an incident on my Discord, okay? There was a chatter who was actually an oiler of mine, okay? We don't allow doxing in my Discord anywhere. Even in spicy chat, we don't allow any doxing at all, or any dox information getting posted, or anything like that, okay? We had a person who, funnily enough, is actually, like, mentally deranged. They're actually, like, mentally ill. They're, like, seriously mentally ill, okay? Not to excuse it, but they are, genuinely. They posted, I believe, a tweet that had WillyMac's docs information in. Now, I believe what happened is they got timed out for a week for that. When I got wind of it, I thought that was too soft, and I wanted them. They got banned from the server. They got banned from the server, and I put out a statement and said, just to remind everyone, zero policy on doxing. Doxing is not allowed. Doxing is not allowed. Doxing is not allowed. Okay? Because I don't fuck with this shit, and I'm not interested in this, and I don't want to be anywhere near any doxing shit. I find the whole stuff very unpleasant and not particularly interesting. It's just shit behavior. Right? So, I don't know if, like, maybe he's trying to say that is what it is. I don't know. I don't know if it's that, or he's talking about Kiwi Farms. But, not to defend the guy's actions, it's still fucking deranged to post material that is the product of a dox. Even that's still bad to do, but that was, I think, maybe a bad and Bernardo tweet. So the point is he didn't originate or do the docs. He was spreading the docs, which is still bad, obviously. I'm not defending it. The guy got fucking banned from the server. But I don't know if it's that or something else. But in any case, even if it was that he was talking about, which is stupid if it is, but you know, where's the evidence? Where is the evidence that a Queeman fan was responsible for WillyMac's docs?
I make fun of them back. The truth is, Bad Empanada did not originate my docs. He maliciously spread it everywhere, but my docs originated on a niche forum by this guy's unhinged viewers. So when I see this clip, it's obviously a dog whistle to fuck with me. He literally gets a donation that says, I understand what we must do.
Okay, I mean...
Wink, wink.
Anything is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him. No? Is that not the standard? That's what he's laying out for me here. Now, I have principles. I don't think it's no bad tactics, only bad targets. That's not me.
As he's literally showing my docs.
But Destiny is very clearly laying out that those are the standards that he believes in.
Okay. As he's showing your docs
But how do I
that
make
Destiny quote tweeted and he's
off
talking about what
press
Destiny said.
Chud, please stop. You
Stupid
just
to
said
do.
How could WillyMac know
Stupid
if
to
it was
do.
a Queeman viewer but then admit a docs was posted in your Discord? You have overlapping communities. Stop the L.
Okay. If you listen to what I'd said, you'd understand how utterly retarded that dono was. That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely fucking insane. Someone posted a tweet that contained someone's docs and they got banned from the server because we don't allow that. How is that good evidence that a Queeman viewer doxed WillyMac? You know, I don't want to fucking get into all the where it is and the doxing and who might have done. I don't fucking know. I just want to see some evidence that it was a Queeman fan before we start fucking, you know, going crazy and claiming that Queeman has got fans that are out there fucking doxing people. But I don't know if he's even talking about that. I'm assuming he's talking about a Kiwi Farms user. Sure, he's probably talking about a Kiwi Farms user. But, you know, the thing is, obviously Kiwi farmers watch people, okay? But by the same logic that WillyMac used when he talked about Dark Viper accusing me, would the same not apply here? How can Queeman be responsible for one of his viewers doing something, even if that were true? Which I don't think it is, by the way, but how would Queeman be responsible for that? So, you know, I am just, like, wanting anything. Any sort of evidence, anything to back these claims up, but we get nothing. Although, the dog whistle thing, let's hear this part out.
Thing is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him. No? Is that not the standard? That's what he's laying out for me here. Now, I have principles. I don't think it's no bad tactics, only bad targets. That's not me.
As he's literally showing my docs.
But Destiny is very clearly laying out that those are the standards that he believes in. Those are the standards he wishes to be enforced. Is if you're a doxer, if you call for violence, anything is justifiable against your supporters.
Order taken.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying, Max, actually. I just explicitly said otherwise, actually, Max.
He's got a shit-eating grin on his face. He knows what he's doing. This thing.
Bro! Is WillyMac fucking autistic, bro? What is this guy's problem? That's a fucking joke, obviously. That's a joke that Queeman is laughing at. Bro, that is fucking outrageous that WillyMac is acting like that's fucking serious. Bro, that is fucking insane. Dude, this video, I mean, I've not watched all of it, obviously, just the part here about the commentary type stuff. That's fucking outrageous, dude. That's totally fucking outrageous. It's totally dishonest, bro. That's a reference to the, you know, they're a terrible, terrible person. I understand what I must do. Fucking meme. No? And then Queeman he's not got a shit-eating grin because he's like, yeah, ha ha ha, go and get WillyMac. And listen, I'll say this as well. I'll say this too, okay? Now, Queeman doesn't need me to go to bat for him. But I will say that in my experience, Queeman has often gone out of his way to make sure that his community does not have this sort of shit knocking about, right? There's one particular example where there were certain logs that I believe were posted, and I think he took effort to remove them that weren't like public information yet. And I don't follow all of his community. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I don't think it's a place where you can go and just post docs information and stuff like that. I'm fairly certain that that sort of stuff gets squashed and it's not perpetuated or allowed within his community. Also, Queeman has always got a shit-eating grin because he's a smug dickhead. Yes, correct. Here's how every Queeman segment starts. Oh, by the way, guys, I was right about that. I was right about that, guys. I was right about that. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. I was right about that, guys. I was right about that. That's the start of every fucking Queeman segment, okay? Now, I'm mocking him for that. But I must say, Queeman has been an outspoken critic of WillyMac for some time. Many are saying that, you know. Anyway, listen, come on. Queeman's ego is big enough as it is. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, I just think this is like totally outrageous to baselessly claim that one of Queeman's viewers is responsible for WillyMac's docs. And, you know, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? And why are we, like, he's talking about, like, you know, I just feel like WillyMac is obviously, like, bothered about the video getting broadcast, which is fair enough. He can take issue with that. He can have a problem with that. He can say, oh, Queeman played it and that's bad, right? Whatever. But what about Destiny quote tweeting the video? It's totally bizarre to me that you take issue with one and not the other. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Gets retweeted by his friend J-Stock, who pushed the exact same narratives about me. I'm obviously very unhappy about this. It's affecting my real life, but instead of anyone actually acknowledging this, they do what Bad Empanada did and try to hypocrisy hunt to justify their actions. They're like, why aren't you mad at Destiny? He quote tweeted your docs too.
Oh.
Why aren't you mad at Destiny himself?
Yo!
Destiny's defending my already viral.
Bro, the cabal is in shambles. Willie Mac is going after Augie. By the way, Augie said he'll come on after I finish reacting to this. So Augie is going to say his piece about this, okay? How is Augie wrong there? Augie is totally correct, by the way. He's right. Augie is correct. How can you dispute that? That is 100% the correct take on that, yes.
That's already in the hands of all of the people. Their actions. They're like, why aren't you mad at Destiny? He quote tweeted your docs too.
Why aren't you mad at Destiny himself?
Destiny is defending my already viral docs that's already in the hands of all of the people who hate me. We're acting like context and scale don't matter.
Wait! But Queeman's stream is after Destiny's tweet. By the nature of the passage of time. Queeman's stream is after Destiny's tweet. So it doesn't matter then, surely. And also, Destiny's tweet has got way more views than Queeman's coverage does. What intent? What intent? So if I take someone's docs and I quote tweet it and say, this is really bad, isn't it? Then that's fine, is it? Because I intend to criticize it. I thought the problem was spreading it regardless of how it's done. Why does it matter if you're criticizing it? You're still spreading it, no? It doesn't make any fucking sense, bro. None of this makes any sense when you think about it for more than a second, dude. It's literally mind-boggling. It's literally mind-boggling. How can you say all of that to say you don't have a problem with Destiny doing it, but Queeman on a smaller fucking audience after that is a problem? It doesn't make any sense. It literally makes no sense, dude. And here's the problem, right? Queeman is obviously got a bad reputation as it is. People don't like Queeman, right? So my concern with this is that I feel like people are just going to fucking like, you know, clap along. They're going to clap along to this. But it's like, no, it's not right. It's not fucking right to put out this absolute fucking bullshit just because the person you're going after is hated. It's fucking outrageous, dude. Bro, okay, King Giglamesh, you fucking retard. Explain how I'm wrong. Explain how I'm wrong exactly. What am I wrong about here? Rather than just say bullshit, what am I wrong about?
It was actually kind of nice to see someone with a big audience who I've criticized in the past stand up for me and say this is wrong. But look at this comment. Willie refuses to acknowledge.
Bro. Everyone thinks doxing is wrong except the people that do it and like deranged fucking Twitter freaks, bro. And fucking Kiwi Farms people that do it. Bro, no one likes doxing. You know, I don't want to say it that way. Many people think doxing is terrible and awful. Why have we got to say doxing bad, bro? And why have we got to quote tweet some fucking nutter posted docs to say doxing bad? It is, but bro, I'm just like blown away by this. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no fucking sense.
The obvious, that Destiny is the biggest proponent in spreading his docs. No, it was actually Bad Empanada who did that. Do you know how time works? They hate.
Okay, the point is that Destiny quote tweeting it draws more eyes to it and brings more attention to it than Queeman talking about it on stream because the tweet's got loads of views. How can you not understand this? It's such a simple fucking point. This is like, it's fucking outlandish, dude.
Destiny so much they're ignoring the very reality we live in. That's what I don't get at all. Is he perfectly fine with his docs being spread around as long as the person who's spreading it is condemning it? At this point, my docs is already spread, the toothpaste is out of the bottle. What bothered me most in this moment was the narrative that I deserve it, or that it's part of some greater Destiny.
Who is saying he deserved it? Who is saying that Willie Mac deserved it? I'm sure that people are, lefties and shit. Is Queeman saying that Willie Mac deserved it? I'm sure people in chat are going to say it as well. But obviously, yeah, I don't think that. And I don't think Queeman thinks that either.
Justice. If Queeman pulled up my docs and only said Bad Empanada sucks for this, I wouldn't care. It's the dog whistle call to action that's the problem. It's so obvious. Yet I'm seeing respected commentator Augie call me a hypocrite because I said doxing is wrong.
This is from a month ago. Willie says, you should delete this. It's just doxing and a shit thing to do to someone whose worst crime is being annoying on the internet. So you have that situation there. So there is twice replying to JSOC's docs, but then he got upset about fucking his docs being shared.
Yeah, holy shit, it's as if context matters. It's as if me calling out a tweet that already has 100,000 views doesn't add any negative effect. He pearl...
Bro, he's like literally contradicting himself, bro. Dude, this is like insane, bro. How would you not apply the same logic to Queeman then? Queeman is criticizing a tweet that's got 270,000 views. He's like, dude, it's honestly bizarre. It's like he's just lashing out and wants to shit on Queeman and hasn't even thought about the arguments that he's made and the fact they start to then contradict each other.
Clutches and gives this big performance about my quote tweet.
I showed you 2 times. Here he is doing it a 3rd time just a few days ago before I even did this stream. And I actually had to like tell him, I was like, dude, delete this shit, right?
But on this same stream, Augie shows the uncensored link of JStock's docs. He also replied under JStock's docs on Twitter. So what are we talking about? Are we gonna call Augie a doxer? No, because they don't actually care about this.
No! Augie is not calling you a doxer. Augie is saying that you, by replying or quote tweeting, are bringing more attention to it. Because this was a crazy concept, I know, but it used to be that if there's docs out there, you ignore it as best you can. I'm not saying, I'm not, obviously Willy Mac, I'm sure it was very, you couldn't ignore the wedding stuff. That was awful, don't get me wrong. But, on Twitter, if you see someone's docs, you ignore it and don't fucking get into it, because by replying to it or quote tweeting it, you draw more eyes to it. Like, that's the point that's being made here, So, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't think that Augie is saying you're a doxer for doing it. He's just saying, oh, you're sharing this docs, more broadly. And obviously, that's what people are then being critical of Destiny for. But Willy doesn't care about Destiny do it, but he cares about Queeman talking about the Destiny tweet. And he just doesn't seem to understand all the kind of contradictions with his, perspective. It's ridiculous.
He's just being performative to justify what's happening to me. Augie acts confused throughout this entire segment.
What?
Being talking about link of JStock's docs. He also replied under JStock's docs on Twitter. So what are we talking about? Are we gonna call Augie a doxer? No, because they don't actually care about this. He's just being performative to justify what's happening to me.
He's saying Augie is being performative to justify him getting doxed. Bro. The cabal is in shambles. I thought these were boys. I thought they were boys. I thought they were mates. Huh? I thought they were mates. What's going on, bro? Dude. This is ridiculous. Babylon will fall. Dude, I don't get it. Bro, the commentary Cold War has had an incursion. Somewhere. It's a hot war. It's a warm war. It's a hot war now. It's a hot war. Bro, that's crazy, dude.
Augie acts confused throughout this entire segment.
Literally days after he threw a hissy fit. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. It's like, what the f are we talking about here? I mean, what argument are we making here? This is just...
Also, hang on a sec. Wait a second.
Any sense to me. It's like, what the f...
Wait, so we're criticizing Augie for sharing this tweet, but nothing for Destiny for sharing the link himself. This is what is going on here, dude? This is fucking outrageous, bro. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, bro. If you want to be critical, I mean, I don't know what the full, Augie can say his piece about this, right? But, I mean, obviously, if you want to be critical of someone not adequately censoring docs information to cover it, then fair enough. I mean, he did seem to censor the other JStock stuff. Maybe this was an oversight. But how can you criticize Augie for this, but not criticize Destiny for sharing JStock's docs, which apparently he's got a problem with elsewhere for other people sharing JStock's docs? What is going on, bro? This is fucking outrageous, is it not?
What are we talking about here? I mean, what argument are we making here? This is just crazy. It makes no sense.
I know why he's confused. It's because he never plays the original clip that made me mad in the first place. He just summarizes as they criticize Destiny, and that's why Willy's mad.
Too bothered by this, but instead he was bothered by some stuff that Queeman and JStock were saying. And basically what they were saying was, it's kind of hypocritical for Destiny to get upset at you know, Willie Mac for getting doxxed when he has a history of doxing people and is currently right now calling for their doxes, right?
So he never
Yeah.
plays the context and then acts like the reason I'm mad is because they called Destiny a hypocrite. Nothing about my wedding or my bride. How is that possible unless you're being bad faith? I'm not even sure if Augie knows.
Oh, he's called Augie bad faith as well. Bro. What is going on? Dude, I thought it was bad when he was skulking about, calling me a snake behind the scenes, allegedly. But now he's just straight up fucking going at Augie's neck. Fuck me, dude. This is insane.
What a dog whistle is. He's like, unless Queeman pulls up Willie's docs and then says, I love doxing Willie, it's all fine.
It wasn't even really a point against Willie Mac. It was mainly a point against Destiny. I don't think at any point Queeman was like, yeah, and he got doxxed, I love that. You know? I don't think he ever said that, right?
Bro, if you're this stupid, make life better for everybody and just quit. Destiny has recently died.
Bro! Oh my god, dude. I think the point that Augie is making there, Augie can speak for himself because he's coming on, he says, after I finish reacting to this. But, I mean, I'm only gonna react to this section. I don't really care about the other stuff. Because I think it's dreadful and terrible, doxing bad, obviously. Doxing terrible, doxing terrible, doxing terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I think that the point that Augie is making is no one involved in this is supportive of the docs. It's to make specific points about people's hypocrisy. I mean, you can, you know, take issue with the arguments if you want and say they're wrong or whatever. To me, it just seems like people are saying, like, there's a, you know, there's a hypocrisy here. And there's also the issue of focusing on other people talking about the Destiny quote tweet, but not criticizing the Destiny quote tweet in and of itself, which is not the originator of the docs, but is spreading the docs to a wide audience. That's the point that's being made, I think. And it just really just, I mean, you know, can't seem to grasp that for some reason. Can't seem to fucking understand that very simplistic point that many people have made with this.
Dox J-Stock and Queeman. His motivation behind this is that everyone they associate with him ends up getting doxed and harassed, so he's doing it back to them. The victims I know are Destiny's girl.
Self-defense doxing. Is that what we're doing now? Self-defensive doxing. Well, people that they know dox me. Or dox people I know, so I think doxing them is okay. Any evidence that they've done any of this doxing are okay with it?
Friend Dan Saltman and his family, me and my wife, Hutch and his family. Augie pulls up Destiny's and
ChudLogic, I'm joining this on myself. Also, ChudLogic, I'm going to regurgitate every pro-Augie narrative without any critical thought. I have given this plenty of critical thought. Explain to me how I'm wrong. Make the point and explain how I'm wrong, rather than just say I'm regurgitating the Augie points. Dude, I'm just saying my piece on this that I think. Augie just happens to be correct. Bro, I was calling his stream fucking tricks for treats the other fucking month. Okay? So listen, I don't mind calling out Augie if he sat there shaving his head for fucking $5, alright? But he's right about this, okay?
employees saying she was swatted.
I was also swatted. Now, why would she be saying that she was also swatted in a reply to this clip? Is she saying that J-Stock and Queeman had some part in her getting swatted? Or that their communities had some part in this?
Yes, obviously, but it's all just a coincidence to Augie. Augie pulls up another example of a
Okay, well, what? Bro, are we Keffels posting now? What are we doing here, dude? Are we Keffels posting now? What the fuck is going on, dude? This is fucking insane, bro. What a coincidence, bro. This is what is going on? Didn't he make videos criticizing Keffels? Did he not criticize Keffels for this kind of, you know, accusing broad communities for swatting? Maybe he didn't cover that. I don't know. But, I mean, I just think it's outrageous that he's just going, wow, it's a coincidence. So, you know, and acting like that means that there's swatting coming for those communities.
Destiny viewers saying they're getting threatening letters sent to their house, and Destiny's like, I don't believe them, but even if that happened, it's still not that community's fault.
A couple months ago, because I'm a fan of Destiny in the JSUG server, someone in his community sent a letter to my home. I've moved since then. Thanks for telling us, by the way. To my house saying, I defend Destiny because I want to rape my wife and my patients. I'm gonna put an X to doubt on that one. And even if it did happen, right? Who's responsible for that?
What about the guy dog whistling that I'm a valid target and getting a dono saying they understand his orders?
Bro!
Wonderful. But how do I make money?
How is this a real video,
Third
dude?
position 1.
Thank you for the 333. This is fucking insane. This is fucking insane. This is absolutely fucking... I'm just blown away by the
that's
lengths
wonderful.
at which
But how do I
efforts are
make
being
money
made to
off
hang this
depressed
all
people?
around Queeman's
Whirlwind
neck.
posting greater than Keffel's posting.
Thank you for the $3. I mean, look, obviously, my thought process here, okay, there's a number of things. Willie could just be lashing out because Queeman is an annoying shitter, right? Is there a possibility that there's an effort to smear Queeman as some sort of doxer or overview of like a doxing community so that he can act like he's not worth talking to? I don't know, dude. It just seems very bizarre that Augie was trying to say that, you know, get both Queeman and Willie Mac on stream for a debate. Now all of a sudden, Queeman's a terrible, terrible doxing guy. Right? I just don't get it, dude.
Anything is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him.
I don't think creators are responsible for every one of their unhinged viewers, but it is not
Okay.
normal for a community this small to have so much doxing coming out of it. I've made videos on
What? What? What doxing? What doxing is coming out of these communities, bro? Where's the proof of this? What doxing?
viewers.
Against Destiny and the people who support him.
I don't think creators are responsible for every one of their unhinged viewers, but it is not normal for a community this small to have so much doxing coming out.
Where? What doxing? Where? Any proof, any evidence of any doxing happening in these communities? Where's that? Where is the proof of this? Like, you know, I would wager that any doxing that is happening on Kiwi farms, the place where doxing is allowed, and there's a culture of doxing people. That would be my guess. Call me crazy. But I would wager that, like, lots of fucking things, the doxing is happening on fucking Kiwi farms. And it can spread from there, certainly. Right? But I don't think these communities are doxing. And also, I don't know if doxing is, like, permissible in these communities. Now, there could be screenshots, there could be evidence that back up, you know, the doxing and stuff. I've not seen any of it, and there's none of it in this video. So, how am I supposed to conclude reasonably that there's all this doxing happening?
Out of it. I've made videos on communists, Nazis, misogynists, feminists, scammers, and traffickers. People with millions of followers, yet this tiny little community is where all this doxing takes place. And
Where? What? Dude, is this not fucking outrageous? Is this not totally fucking outrageous to just claim, apropos of no evidence provided on the video, that there's all this doxing happening in these communities? As I said, I've already spoken about the one time that someone posted a tweet that had dox information in. The guy got a week suspension, and then I ended up saying that's not enough, and we banned him from the server. And obviously it all got removed. Right? Now, the problem with Discord is anyone can come in and post anything. People post all sorts of fucking shit in the Discord. And, you know, obviously, you know, you have to moderate it. And unfortunately, it doesn't always necessarily get caught. So I'm sure that there's lots of different servers that have got dox information in that maybe isn't seen or maybe isn't caught or something like that. You know, it happens. But there's a difference between someone coming in and posting a link to a tweet that's got dox information in and doxing coming from that community. Doxing coming from that community would normally mean that they are researching, investigating, and publishing dox information. So where is that happening?
it's just out of their hands. Dude, they're obviously feeding into it, but Augie knows nothing. He can't even recite me goofing on them accurately. J-Stalk has criticized Destiny for creating a metaphorical rape machine, partially because he had sex with BPD girls. Then when these girls call him out for being abusive, everyone thinks they're just crazy. J-Stalk then had sex with the same BPD girl.
Everything Destiny's saying here is true. Actually, it's not true. Actually, everything
That is a bit of an L for J-Stalk, I must say.
Destiny's saying here is complete bullshit. Destiny says, and to think that this was the same guy, J-Stalk Jewstalker, who spent the last year saying having sex with mentally ill people equals rape. Crazy, huh? No, you f***ing retard. That was never the argument that you have sex with mentally ill people, that means you're raping them by default. The argument is that you don't give a fuck about their consent because you share their images, videos of them doing all kinds of sexual stuff. You'll share that with anyone.
No, Augie, J-Stalk actually specifically said it's not about sharing images.
I think that the main talking point is that Destiny distributes people's nudes. And, like, it's like a weird
I think that's not the main talking point. I think one of the a massive talking point here is the infinite rape machine, okay? How does the infinite rape machine work? It's a massive talking point. Which you'd know if if you watch the Sunday video, it's not just about nudes, bro. It's about a system that let this happen for so long.
And what does Sunday say? Part of the machine is Destiny
Well, I don't know if J-Stalk is saying exactly what was in the tweet there. It doesn't sound like what was being stated in the tweet.
Mentally ill women.
And the victims are also selected, either for mental illness, allowing them to be easily construed as hysterical or deceptive when they complain about their treatment.
So when it leaks that J-Stalk is having a secret relationship with the same BPD girl and she crashes out on him multiple times, it's funny. I'm giving him shit. I'm allowed to talk shit back to these people. I talked to Augie about this same exact thing a month ago and told him if he wanted to find it, he could just watch the ending to my second Destiny video. But he didn't watch it. He'd rather make stuff up. Bro, you're sitting at a computer right now. Feel free to use it. Augie and...
Bro. I mean, I think it's obviously totally wrong to try and categorize people as like doxing communities or doxers or whatever. But, I can somewhat understand him going after Queen and going after J-Stalk, like talking shit, whatever. Yeah, there's no love lost there. But I am honestly blown away by how hard Willy is going at Augie. That's pretty wild. Now, obviously, I know that Willy really values people being able to hop on stream and back their arguments up. As he said, he was so positively about Destiny. So I'm hopeful that he's going to hop on stream with Augie at some point and talk about this and back up his arguments. One would hope. I guess we will see, won't we?
This hour-long segment on me summarizing that the only reason I'd be mad is because I'm stupid or because Destiny controls me, feeding into the narrative that got me doxxed in the first place.
It's hard to, like, logically understand why he's posting this shit. I mean, the two options is literally just he's like brain dead retarded right now, or he's controlled opposition.
Really? That's all you could think of? Well, let me give you a third option. Our wedding is having to prepare for fake bomb threats, and my bride is worried about us and our family getting shot. Augie never once brings this up as a possibility for why I'm frustrated.
Bro. Does he genuinely think that Augie doesn't think that? Does he genuinely want the doxing bad? Fucking, like, comment from Augie. I thought they were pals, no? Maybe I've got it wrong. I thought they were at least on good terms. Bro, I'm actually a bit like, what the fuck is going on here, dude? Because, I think that from my perspective at least, it seemed like Augie was just issuing criticisms based on his principal view on this or whatever. But Willy seems to have taken it super personally. And now is like acting like Augie is just uncaring about the fact that he's been doxxed. I mean, again, it's obviously terrible that he got doxxed, and I do feel terrible about all the wedding. Obviously, that's awful. I just feel like it's a bit victim Andy that we're getting to here. Like, this is a bit Keffels-esque. Like, dude, I don't know, bro. This comes across a bit Keffels-esque to me. Like, obviously, we all agree, except for the deranged freaks that hate you, like the fucking bad empanadas of the world. We all agree the doxing is bad, right? Do we really need to do the doxing bad stick like I've done a bunch of times this stream? Why are you defending Augie? Because I've listened to the points made and I think Augie's correct.
doesn't cross his mind. Seriously, if that's the extent of your analysis, you need to quit. In my last conversation with Augie, he told me a story about how he quit drama for a year because a guy named Salvo was doxing and harassing him and his family. So where is that?
Is this like something Augie wanted out there, or is this true? I don't know. What's this, dude? Is this based on a private convo? Dude, what the fuck, dude? That's why I didn't mind sharing my side of the convo earlier, because I'd heard that he said this.
Of your analysis, you need to quit. In my last conversation with Augie, he told me a story about how he quit drama for a year because a guy named Salvo was doxing and harassing him and his family. So where is that same sympathy when it's happening to me and my wife? He shares the same empathy meter with Ian.
You know, my empathy meter's only maybe like a quarter of the way filled up.
The most reassuring news I got was when my wedding planner told me that she talked to the venue and they told her that the riffraff doesn't bother them because they've done celebrity weddings and that they're in a Jewish neighborhood, so they're used to getting calls like this. In one sense, very reassuring because it means our venue wasn't spooked, and in another sense, very depressing because it means people are just calling and harassing this place because they're in a Jewish neighborhood. I don't know what should happen when it comes to Destiny or a Snark community doxing each other and others, but what I do know is bad
Snark, everything's Snark now, everything's Snark. Call it Snark and everyone knows what it means and it's bad and you hate it and that's it. You don't need to say anything else. No more arguments needed. Fuck off, dude. Holy fuck, bro. Oh my god, dude. Okay, there we go. Like I say, I am sure that I would agree Bad Empanada's awful. I don't care about San, and yeah, okay. But that was the main part I was interested in. What is going on, dude? When did Willy turn into fucking Keffals, bro? What the fuck? Am I being harsh here, dude? Am I being too much? Right, anyway. I think we've got a very special guest calling in. Very special guest, I think. Let's see. Let's see about this.
Yo.
Yo, Augie. How's it going?
What's going on, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, I think the last time that we spoke was the New Year's stream, in fact.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, maybe during the Destiny drama, we talked a bit during that, but yeah.
Maybe. I mean, that stream, I don't know if you're aware, has been very famous. Much discussed.
Well, dude, I feel like I've surpassed the amount of trouble that I was in from that stream with my own comeback stream I did 2 weeks ago. I think everything I said on that stream got me into some sort of trouble in like every community that I covered that stream. It's actually insane. And just when I thought I was out of the weeds, this fucking Willy video just drops out of fucking nowhere. Like, genuinely, like, so I just want to be clear.
Slow down. Wait. We got some other business to attend to, mate. I made some comments about you, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, let's just get that out of the way. Dude, I don't give a fuck. You fucking shit. You shit-talked my stream. We shit-talked you back. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I did not take that super personally. I mean, in the moment, like, when you were, like, shitting on my show or something, I probably was like, fuck this guy or something like that, right? But, like, yeah, like, long-term, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude. Well, obviously, I don't really like the tricks or treat stuff. But I heard it was a very good stream, very popular, and hopefully you did take it in the banter-esque where it was intended. It wasn't meant to be like a super serious, like, fucking insult on you personally, so...
Well, dude, me and Connor love doing these, like, gimmick streams where it's all crazy. We've done, like, game shows. We've set up, like, Among Us tournaments in the past with other YouTubers. We were doing the poker streams before. We love these gimmicky type shows and just setting them up, especially Connor, and I like performing in them, so... That's just kind of like
Connor gay? Is Connor homosexual, yes or no?
Actually, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, I mean, dude.
Good question, though.
You say your piece. What have you got to say for yourself? Like, what's going on, mate?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and obviously, I'm gonna be, responding to this on my own platform. I kind of have to. But I mean, Willy is very obviously hurt. I mean, he's been, I think Queeman and J-Stock, but probably particularly Queeman. Although he does really hate J-Stock, and he doesn't like you either, by the way. And I'm fine talking about that because clearly he has no fucking issue disclosing anything that we've ever talked about. So, I mean...
Okay, let's be narcissistic. Hit me. What's the problem with ChudLogic? What's going on?
I think he just doesn't... I think there's a big paranoia of like an anti-community. You know what I mean? I think there's a big paranoia with an anti-community, and I think Queeman and J-Stock are sort of looked at as these like figures that are, they can't be trusted. They might do and say crazy shit. They might form audiences that are just going to be a fucking pain in our ass. I think that's a lot of where it comes down from. And I think in general, my biggest issue with Willy is that he's not able to sort of consider the criticism and see if there's any value to it, like, because I think when you get criticized, obviously you shouldn't just dismiss it immediately, because what if it's true? You don't want to just be hard stuck on one path. And so when he's getting criticism for his Destiny video, I think he immediately like just throws it in the trash. He's just like, this is just stupid shit. This is just spurg outs. These are, Destiny snark communities that are coming at me with all this bullshit. But I prefer an approach of like, hey, let's sit down. Let's think about what they're saying for a second and see if there's any weight to this, and we can have a discussion there. But I think Willy's hard-headed.
Wasn't your show often about a video comes out, there's a disagreement with how it's done, and then creators hop on and talk about it? I mean, Technicals is probably one of the best examples of this.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that happened all the fucking time on, in the old days. But I think the climate is much different nowadays. Everyone's kind of in their own community, in their own circle, on their own channel, doing their own thing. It's not like the old days anymore where, basically you had after hours, Tommy C was also doing his show or whatever, right? But basically you had these like live streams, you had Doc on the radio where it was just constant like open door policy. Yeah. Good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you had these streams back in the day that were just kind of open door programs where, that was the content. But I think a big problem with that content is it is kind of a pain in the ass for the creators to engage in all the time. And so now everyone is sort of in their fortress arc, which I'm not saying is even like a bad strategy or something. It makes total sense to me. But I think everyone's a little bit too sensitive when it comes to criticism on their videos. And I feel like that's pretty stupid. I don't know.
Well, I think that one of the issues is that, like, maybe it feels one-sided sometimes, because streamers will criticize a video. Because I think WillyMac has said to Queeman, why don't you make a video? And it almost feels like, well, I don't get to criticize you for your coverage. But you can absolutely criticize a streamer for their coverage if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to make a video to make yourself subject to criticism. You can just watch a stream and go, they're wrong about this, they're wrong about that. And I don't know, man. I mean, is that not what it's all about? Like, criticizing each other? Like, that's a lot of drama comes off of this.
But I think the problem from Willy's perspective is honestly, like, he looks at these communities and he's like, engaging with this is just like, it's not worth it for me because they have the tiny audience, I have the bigger audience. It's not like an equal. I don't get nearly as much out of engaging with this as they do with engaging with me. So from his perspective, he's probably looking at it more like that, where he's like, it's either out of like fear or it's out of, he just doesn't want to sort of constantly be fucking bickering with these smaller channels and stuff like that. That's probably where he's coming from, if I just had to guess. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like, Logic, don't want to bicker with smaller channels, but then it seems a bit bizarre that you then make a video falsely claiming that the smaller channel, in my opinion, falsely claiming.
Well, that's the fucking problem. It's like, if you don't want to engage with these people, just don't fucking engage, right? But clearly he wants to engage with them, but on his platform where he can, create the narrative for himself, post it to his channel, get the 100,000 views because it's Hassan Slop, and he can sort of establish the narrative on these smaller creators, and not really have to. He doesn't even have to engage with them anymore because he's already painted them as malicious doxers. So therefore, that's my out or whatever, right? I can just, he wants to engage with them, but in a way where it's like a controlled environment for him.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
I don't know.
What is your sort of like a response, I guess, or takes to WillyMac's comments in regards to you? You're friends, right? I think you were friends, I thought, no?
Yeah, we had a good conversation, or at least I thought it was a good conversation a month ago. And that's actually the conversation he referenced in his video. He mentioned something about how, first of all, I think Willy, I don't know if he thinks that I am like cool. I just don't care that he got doxxed. I was disgusted when I found out that he got doxxed. I'm not just saying that just a virtue signal right now. I legit was like, wow, that really sucks. Like, I didn't even know what happened when it did happen. But yeah, Nick told me, like, yeah, Bad Empanado's running around with his docs and his wife and stuff like that. And so I pulled up his Twitter and I looked at it. I was like, wow, this is actually disgusting shit. But, when I see somebody gets doxxed, I'm not just going to what am I supposed to fucking tweet about it? That's just going to encourage people to look into it more.
But with,
you know what I mean?
My logic with dox stuff is always ignore, ignore, ignore. Because the moment
Exactly.
you talk about it, you start drawing eyes to it. And that's, that's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the opposite of what you want to do. And also, I mean, obviously, I understand WillyMac's probably, anxious of the wedding stuff. I totally get that. I don't have a problem with him talking about it necessarily because the wedding's done now. But there's also the mentality of, you often don't want to draw attention to your own docs information. You want to kind of, ignore it as best as possible too. So
look, I could even excuse I can even look at it Willy's obviously, probably a bit hysterical about the docs. He's probably a little bit emotional and stuff like that. And so it's fine for him to not respond to it completely 100% level-headed. You know what I mean? Obviously that's completely fine. But he's just outright lying. I mean, he created this video on me or something like that. He's fucking lying, saying that I basically supported the docs and that I'm basically ganging up with a bunch of people that are crypto doxing him, like Queeman, who's dog whistling, calling for his docs, whatever the fuck that means, completely taking their arguments totally out of context and just smearing them. And he can get away with that because nobody likes Queeman. He can get away with that. I'm getting so many people in my comments and on Twitter basically being like, you pal around with these fucking monsters? What the fuck? I expected better from you. He's basically painted them as mini Bad Empanadas. And so now everyone thinks that I'm hanging out with Bad Empanada, basically, through this video. And then that last part when he talks about, why I quit the internet. First of all, I never told him that's why I quit the fucking internet. Now, obviously, the call that we had, he's referencing a call we had a month ago where I had called him trying to ask him to debate Queeman because I wanted to set up a debate on my fucking channel. So I called him. I was just shooting the shit, right? It was half to set up the debate, but also half just to catch up with them and just see, because I hadn't talked to him in a while. And so I call him or whatever, and I'm like, hey man, I want to do a debate between you and Queeman. I think this could be really fun. And he's obviously giving me all of his reasons why he doesn't want to debate him. And he's rattling off, speaking 1,000 words a second, talking about how unfair they've been to him and how they've mistreated him and stuff like that. And he's basically talking about how their communities have just been a giant fucking pain in his ass. And so to relate with them, because I'm talking to him, I'm yeah, I know what it feels like to have communities go after you. And I mentioned the Salvo thing and stuff like that to sort of, let him know that yeah, I get where you're coming from. But then when he started explaining more and just going off, I start pushing back and questioning. I'm like, well, how these communities really engage in this sort of way? What are your problems? Blah, 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 blah. And he gets nervous and he's like, dude, are you recording me? And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, hello? So I immediately start screen sharing to prove that I wasn't, because I'm like, dude, we're friends. What do you think? I'm taping you secretly and I'm going to give Queeman the fucking file so that he can review it the next day on stream? Why would I do that? What the fuck? But he got very, caught off guard there at the idea that I was recording him. And I immediately had to flip on my camera and just be like, no, I'm not a fucking monster. Do you think that but that's the level of paranoia that we're dealing with here. You know what I mean?
Well, I do know what you mean, because I reached out to WillyMac after the first Destiny video. I showed the message of my own side on stream, and I just said, hey man, you're crashing out on Twitter, you're arguing with shitters. If you want to have a conversation, I can explain the issues off stream if you want. It could be recorded on your end for peace of mind. And then he twisted that into, and I think he talked to Tommy C about this and claimed there was some sort of snake for doing this, which I thought was a bit weird because I don't really think it's snaky to be like, hey man, let's have a convo about this issue, even off stream. So I wonder if he's got this paranoia issue or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it just comes down to, this is probably his first time dealing with the Queeman and J-Stock. It's probably his first time dealing with somebody consistently talking shit about him that's not retarded.
I mean, Queeman can be very obnoxious. And I know,
obviously,
we've got some. I've got some. Some of his chatters can be very obnoxious too. We call them queespeds, okay? So I can understand being bothered by that, but then it feels like he's letting it go way too far into his head, and it's bothering more than it needs to. And now he's created this narrative. They're all doxing and shit, which just seems ridiculous. Or some of them are doxing.
It's creating all these weird delusion. The only way that I can accept that this video was not just a malicious just lie that he just made, fuck me over personally or whatever. It's just that he's so delusional and hyper paranoid that he's not trying to do that, but he's just doing that accidentally because he's hurt or something like that. But I found it just very funny, that last point he made, because it's very clear that he's projecting, honestly. You know, he wants to run this sort of narrative that, you know, I went nuts and like left the internet or whatever, right? Well, I mean, look at him right now. Look at how he's responded to these fucking people. You know what I mean? Like, it's very clear that that's kind of what he feels, actually. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, the video was just worse than I could have possibly imagined. I mean, I'm trying to think of anything else he said that was particularly egregious. It kind of just all comes down to the fact that I think he thinks that I'm cool with him being doxxed, which, I mean, I don't know how you could come to that conclusion. That makes no fucking sense. And he plays all these clips of me where I'm talking about, like, he plays that one clip of me where I'm like, I don't think Queeman has ever celebrated or looked for your docs or anything like that or done anything, you know, like that. And Willy plays that, and then he just, like, quit the internet. Like, boom, mic drop. Without explaining, like, no, actually, here's this clip of Queeman being deranged. You're completely moronic and incorrect here. Because if he had the clip, then that's when you can say, quit the internet, you suck at your job. But he just says you suck at your job without explaining why I'm wrong. And there's another moment in the video that's exactly like that. And it's like, are you okay, bro? You are really fucking upset.
Yeah, so this was like, you were basically blindsided by this video. You expected him to come out and talk all this shit about you, from the sounds of it.
Absolutely not. And you know what's so funny? You messaged me that you were going to do the stream, and I didn't know, because I don't use this this is like an old account of mine. I don't use this Discord account, right? And a lot of people still message me on this account, not realizing that I have a different one. And so I just like fucking, you know, I opened this Discord up just to do this call, and I actually just saw WillyMac had sent me a DM from a day before I did my comeback stream, asking me if I wanted to play some video games.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. If I had picked up that call, this would have never happened.
Oh, wait, hang on. You're saying you would have swept for the Cabal narrative. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, we would have. I probably would have been like, hey, man, I've seen your Twitter account. And we would have probably had that conversation privately. And I probably wouldn't have come off that hard on stream the next day. But because I never saw that, I was just spitting out what I was seeing. And that resulted in this giant shitstorm. So, I mean...
Bro,
because let's be honest,
the Cabal is real. You heard it here first. The Cabal is real.
No,
these
bullshit.
private calls,
you know,
bro, come on. I've been in those calls, man. I know what it's like.
This is a fucking. No, you're spinning it right now. You know damn well if somebody's like playing. If somebody wants to play video games with you and you happen to like see them being crazy on Twitter, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll play some games with you. And also while you're playing, you're gonna be talking like, hey, what's up? Like, I've seen your Twitter. Like, what's going on there? We probably would have talked about it, you know, and this would have never happened. But I didn't see the message. So.
Oh no, dude. It's
so
never
now
been
this
more
is
over.
exploded.
It's never been more over. It's never been more over
but,
for you, has it?
But to be honest, I'm glad that this happened because I've seen his nature. You know what I mean? I've seen... Because he's clearly malicious now. I mean, that's 100%. I don't know if I'm like hyperbolic in saying that, but I think it's clear that, you know, Willy will get very nasty with you if you perturb him in any sort of way. And sure, he's going after targets like Queeman and J-Stock that are easy to hate. I guess maybe I'm easy to hate. I'm not really sure. But, you know, he has shown that he's capable of doing this really to anyone that upsets him. You know, I mean, this is just, is it wrong to say that this video is just complete lies, malicious smears, bullshit?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I would be willing to engage with the idea that Queeman or J-Stalk or both are the doxers, or they, you know, host doxing or they allow doxing, if there was any evidence. But there's no evidence in the video. So I'm a bit like, okay.
Show me, because I want to know. Yeah. You know, I've been on J-Stalk's stream. I've interacted with Queeman. If I'm accidentally buddying up, which, by the way, I love this idea that you're buddying up with somebody just because you talk to them once or twice, right? But if I'm buddying up with these people, fucking show me the harmful shit that they do. That's not just, well, they're assholes to me. Because it's like, okay, well, we're commentary YouTubers, right? We're assholes to everybody. If somebody's an asshole to you, like, I can be like, wow, that's not great. You know, that's my friend. I don't like seeing people be mean to them or whatever, right? But if you're going to tell me that this is like a dangerous community to be around, well, you got to fucking show me what you're talking about. You can't just, you know, give me this hysterical fucking retelling of your last 8 months, you know, which basically just boils down to them making criticisms of you.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like there has a loss of this kind of like let's just hop on stream and talk about it mentality that even I experienced back in the day, where we'd have like panels, we would come on, we'd all talk and stuff like that. You know, that all seems to have kind of gone by the wayside now. And I can see, because I've at times been like, okay, like, you know, I can understand the audience is very fucking further, you know, there's a lot of further there. They want a lot of fucking blood and stuff like that. So maybe you don't want to have a conversation on stream. But it just seems like now it's like there's no conversations between commentary people ever. It's all on your own stream, and that's about it.
Look,
really.
there's got to be a balance, you know what I mean? I obviously get it. It's fucking obnoxious. Like, anytime you give a take on stream, well, debate me on this or whatever, right? It's obnoxious to be in that loop where you have to sort of, you know, waste your time, like having these fucking endless arguments or something like that sometimes. But in general, I think, yeah, when it comes down to it, Queeman has disagreements with Willy, and he wants to engage, right? Willy has disagreements with Queeman, and clearly Willy wants to engage because Willy engages with them on Twitter and on his YouTube channel all the fucking time, right? So just at that point, you can't just sit there and say, well, I'm just going to ignore them and just do my thing. Because you're not ignoring them, and you're not doing your own thing. So now you just look like a bitch because, you know, it's either don't respond to them at all, never address them again, or fucking, you know, engage with them. And I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Dude, this is difficult because obviously I like to have disagreements normally when I speak to people, but I think we've got a lot of similar views on this. I mean, you know, to be honest with you, mate, I'm a bit out of all of this. I feel a bit on the outside now because apparently everyone fucking hates me in this commentary.
I'm shocked you covered this because I've noticed, for a while, I think after the Tommy C war, I noticed you've kind of just been in your own lane recently. Like, I haven't really heard from you. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised you covered this.
The thing is, for me, I genuinely am not super interested in this intra-commentary stuff. I do feel like I just want to do my own thing primarily. But when I saw the video, I was just kind of outraged. I was like, this is too much, man. This is like completely outlandish bullshit being said. And my concern is that because people hate Queeman and J-Stalk, that people are just going to go like crazy at it and act like, yep, this proves Queeman and J-Stalk are doxers. And it's like, well, it doesn't prove that at all. You know? So it just felt like, might as well go live and just give my take on it all. So...
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're covering it, man, because it's pretty much an uphill battle. He's kind of put me in a weird situation here. So,
because your community is still there, but you kind of obviously don't stream as much anymore, so you don't have as much of a platform, I don't think, to really defend yourself. I don't think, no.
Oh, less about that, because I mean, I still get good numbers when I stream, but more so just like I feel like I'm the only one in my neck of the woods that's going to cover this. So, and I also feel like I'm the only one in my neck of the woods that's going to cover this from my perspective. You know what I mean? It's so it's a little bit of an uphill battle, but I mean, I'm going to go live and cover it, and I'm going to be fair and I'm going to be honest. And if WillyMac wants to come on, I fucking would love to have a conversation with him. You know, I'd love to challenge him on this because I think that his video was complete. It was just a stinking load of shit. So
fair, okay. Yeah, well, anyway, that's about it, really. That's about all I've got to say about that. Anything else you wanted to talk about or cover before we move on? Or before I
yeah, I mean, it's mainly just this WillyMacShow drama that's going on. That's crazy.
When are you going live?
Probably tomorrow to cover this.
Perfect.
So, on my YouTube channel.
Great stuff. Well, we'll all be looking forward to seeing your response, I'm sure.
Well, thanks for having me on, man.
Pleasure. Good to talk. Catch you later.
All right.
Thanks. Bye. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. That is Augie's response to that.